God has blessed us to be here together one more time. And like the song said, I am happy with Jesus alone. Because sometimes that's all you're going to have. And y'all know every time I get ready to preach, I got a story. And that song fits what I'm going to preach on. Because sometimes when you are alone, all you got is Jesus. And Jesus is all you going to have. Amen. So you need to know where you at and whose you are at all costs. Because they're going to come a day. They're going to come a day when Jesus is going to be all you got. Amen. So be prepared for that day because it's coming. And we're going to go to the book of Acts, the 12th chapter, through the 5th through the 9th verse. And 5th through the 9th verse. And I was working on this, and it was really interesting to me for a season, because I plunder a lot with things all the time in my mind, but sometimes I don't know how they're gonna work out. But they always work out when I get out of self. For the most part, it's all about getting out of yourself and let God do what God gonna do. Because a lot of times we are literally in His way. And the book of Acts, the 12th chapter, the 5th verse, Peter there. No, I'm gonna go back to the 4th verse. And when he had apprehended him, he put him in prison and delivered him to 4 squadrons of soldiers to keep him intemperate after Easter, to bring him forth to the people. Peter therefore was kept in prison, but prayers was made without ceasing of the church unto God for him. And when Herod would have brought him forth the same night, Peter was sleeping between 2 soldiers, bound with 2 chains, and the keepers before the doorkeeper, the doorkeeper kept the prison. And behold, the angel of the Lord came upon him, and a light shined in the prison, and he smote Peter on the side and rose him up, saying, Arise up quickly. And his chains fell off from him. And the angel said unto him, Gird thyself, and bind on thy sandals. And so he did. And he said unto him, Cast thy garment about thee, and follow me. And he went out and followed him, and wist not that it was true which was done by the angel, but thought he saw a vision. Remember, I was just saying, sometimes you're going to be by yourself. There could be many titles for this message, what I'm about to preach. One of them could be sleeping with the enemy. One of them could be, do you know where you at? But the one that was picked out this time was, Jesus knows your whereabouts. And it was understanding because Herod was the king. Now, let me back up a little bit more. Peter and James was preaching Jesus in Jerusalem. Herod was a Jew. They was amongst the Jews preaching Jesus. Herod being the king, he didn't like that, and they told him to quit. But they kept doing it. They kept preaching Jesus. So what they did, Herod had James killed. Well, I thought at first he had James killed. But he killed James. He cut James's head off. That was John's brother. But him and Peter was working together. And when Herod saw that it pleased the people, he was going to do the same thing to Peter. But Jesus knew his whereabouts. Even in the midst of the situation that Peter was caught up in, Jesus knew his whereabouts. He knew everything that was going on that was about to happen because the Jews had the law. Peter had Jesus. Right. Watch this now. The Jews had the law. Yeah. Peter had Jesus. All right. Which one do you have? Do you have the law or do you have Jesus? I know. See, knowing what you got can help you in a situation as long as Jesus knows your whereabouts. That's right. See, Jesus knew Peter's whereabouts. Amen. Peter wasn't worrying about the law because he knew he had Jesus. Right. But now, wait a minute. Watch this. See, one thing I like to real close. We always talk about prayer. But they said, while Peter was laying in prison by 4 squadron of soldiers, and I figured that up, that was 36 people. 36 soldiers for one man. When Herod gave him over, he gave him up to 36 soldiers. 4 squadrons. That's a lot of soldiers for one person, ain't it? Yeah. What was it because Herod didn't trust them? Or did he not trust Peter? Or did he not understand the concept of who he had? Because when I was doing my homework, it was said that James and Peter was healing people while they was preaching and teaching. Come on now. That's right. So there was a lot going on with James and Peter that Herod had to look at, but he didn't know who they knew because, like I said, do you know the law or do you know Jesus? Peter and James knew the law, knew Jesus. They weren't worrying about the law because they was doing the work of Jesus. Do you do the work of Jesus or do you do the work of the law? Wait a minute. Let me see, can I say it like this? Do you do the work of Jesus or you do your self-work? I know. See, Herod being the king, he was doing his self-work. That's right. Amen. He was doing his own thing. He was doing his self-work. That's why he cut James' head off. And he had plans for Peter. But now watch this. That's why I said you could have said this could be sleeping with the enemy. They apprehended Peter. Now Peter was given over to 36 soldiers. Okay. Now he put in prison. Now he's in the jail. Chained to 2 of them. Right. Where the other 32 at? Come on now. Then they talk about one was standing at the door. So now where the other 33 at? Mm-hmm. But Peter is down in the jail, chained to 2. But wait a minute, now watch this. Peter's asleep. Yes, sir. In the midst of the situation, knowing you in trouble, can you sleep good at night? No. Toss and turn. No. In the midst of the trouble, in the situation, you knowing your bills is due, your car ain't got no gas. Come on, man. You got to go to work in the morning. Come on now. Your lights out. Oh, come on now. Can you sleep good? No, tossing and turn. No. Wait a minute. Who you know? Jesus. Do you know the law? Or do you know Jesus? No, Jesus. So watch this now. I did that because Peter was caught up in the law. But he was sleeping with the enemy But in his heart, he knew Jesus.
All right.
So it didn't bother him where he was at. It didn't bother him the situation, the circumstances, nor their plan. Because he was just he was just resting in Jesus. Sleep, knowing you're going to die the next morning. Come home after a long day work, lights off, find a notice on the door. And I'm going to add a little bit more to you. You walks in the door, now you're feeling bad. Everything going wrong. Everything. In the situation that you're in now, everything seems to be going wrong. Nothing ain't working your way. Do what Peter did. Go ahead and put the chains on me. Lock me up. I'm going to go sleep good because I know Jesus.
All right.
That's the only reason Peter could sleep. He knew Jesus.
Amen.
When you know who you know and trust who you know and believe, wait a minute. Peter didn't even know he was going to be set free.
Just trust.
He just trusted it.
Yes, sir.
But now I'm going to go to the part that I was trying to get to.
Come on now.
While Peter was sleeping, chained to the guards, the church was praying. Y'all got that? Peter was sleeping, chained to the guards, the church was praying. Peter sleep, chained to the guards, church praying. Peter sleep, chained to the guards, church praying. Who they praying to? They praying to Jesus.
Yeah.
Whose name was they calling? Peter's.
Peter's.
Now,
Okay.
Peter sleep, chained to the guard, church praying, calling his name out to Jesus. And it was just kind of oozing at me. Peter sleep, but he in trouble.
Yes.
Chained to the guards,
Right. Church praying.
church praying, calling his name out to Jesus. And I was plundering with it, and it was bothering me because I've been sick, laying in the bed. I was praying, calling out my name to Jesus, and he healed me. But I didn't know when he was coming. Now, the church was praying for Peter, calling his name out before Jesus, but it kind of led me to believe that while they was deep in prayer, they really didn't believe. But they were praying.
Right.
But now, this is why I say, do you know the law or do you know Jesus?
Amen.
Because if you're doing the work of Jesus, he know your whereabouts, he know your situation, and he's going to come on time. Because they said if Peter would have been there the next morning after Easter, Heron was going to kill him too, just like he did James.
That's right.
You see how that worked? Right. Jesus always on time.
Right. Amen.
Peter never worried about nothing. I'm gonna do it from my moment. It bothered me a little bit. But after I prayed, I just said, well, Lord, I'm gonna go on to sleep and whatever happened, happened. But I pray that your will be done. Don't leave that out. Don't leave out the will, your will. Because we can say some unconscious things to put us in trouble. So let it be God's will and not your will, because the law and Jesus.
Yeah.
I don't want the law to replace the will of Jesus in my life.
That's right. Amen.
Peter went to sleep. And while he was sleeping, chained to the guards, the church was praying, calling out his name before Jesus. But lo and behold, during the night, God sent an angel. You remember all that stuff I said? Bills was due. Final notice on the door. No gas in the car. But then you just go on and lay down and go to sleep.
Okay.
You ain't worried about it. But Jesus showed up. The phone rung. The phone rung early that morning.
Amen.
Hey, look at him. I was just thinking about you. How things going with you?
My Lord.
Peter was asleep. Peter was asleep. Chained to the guards. The angel come and smoked him on the side. Touched him on the side and said, come on, get up. And as he stood up, the chains fell off.
Come on, y'all.
Amen.
Come on.
The angel said, get up now. And the chains fell off. They didn't say they unloosed them, they just said they fell.
Yes, sir.
And they said, put your shoes on. Put your garment on, wrap it on you, throw it on you, we gotta go. Knock, come at the door. You hear the knock at the door? I just stopped by to see you. Look at him, boy. You remember, I know you probably forgot about it, but you remember I owed you $50. Here you $50, boy.
Right.
When you don't worry, God always make a way.
Come on now.
Amen.
When you worry, you trying to take the place of God. That's living in the law.
Yeah.
But when you're living in Jesus, you can sleep good at night no matter what's going on around you because you know Jesus is going to make a way.
All right.
He made a way for Peter. But now getting back, now think about it. 36 soldiers. 2 of them chained to him, 1 at the door. We don't know where the other they didn't say where the other 33 was, even though I read a little bit. But the angel touched you while you were sick. Jesus sent an angel. Try it like this.
Come on now.
While you were asleep, in the bed, feeling bad, Jesus sent an angel to rest with you.